We've got four categories. We got our top movies of 2013, the top five overrated movies, top five surprise movies, and the top five movies we're looking forward to next year. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump into my list. Um, so coming in at number five, I had to put in Man of Steel. I really, really enjoyed this reboot of Superman. I was super concerned about it when they announced it. I did not think they were going to do a good job. Um, and it really did just blow me away. They made a good, engaging movie. It was fun to watch. They honored all of the old Superman incarnations. They gave plenty of fan service without being stupid about it. I'm looking at you, J.J. Abrams. Uh, and it was just overall really well done movie. Did the movie have problems? Of course it did. There were issues with the relationship between him and Lois Lane. Uh, and I'm not real sure because since they're going with the sequel is going to be Batman versus Superman, and they're starting to throw in all these goddamn characters, which again I'm starting to get concerned. This movie's getting a little overcrowded. But
Wonder Woman.
Which
I got to talk to you on that later. But anyway, sorry.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing. But I'm wondering if they're going more based off of the New 52 storylines, because in the New 52, Superman and Lois aren't together. Superman and Wonder Woman are together. So, that could be, how this is going to work out. I don't know. So that's my number five. Number four, I had to go with Thor: The Dark World. I thought it was a fantastic movie. Not a fantastic superhero movie, a fantastic movie. It was a really well done, engaging story. It stood on its own 2 feet. If it wasn't part of the Avengers, it still would have been a good movie. They told a good story. The acting was really well done. You got to see all these different worlds. It was great action. I just really enjoyed Thor: The Dark World. So that was my number 4 pick. Number 3, I had to really. It was a fight for this one and number 2. But I went with Pacific Rim in number 3. Guillermo del Toro did a great job of world building in that movie, and a lot of people said it was light on story. I was one of them, and I was just like, I don't give a shit. It's giant robots punching giant monsters. But I recently got to watch the movie with Guillermo del Toro's commentary, and before I liked the movie, now I appreciate the movie. That movie is actually really, really, really well done. There's a lot of subtleties you just don't understand, like things you would never think of if you're not inside the head of Guillermo del Toro. Basically, it was really. I really enjoyed that commentary, even though sometimes he kind of went off on these tangents about things that weren't going on screen. And I was like, I want to know what's going on there. But it was very, very well done. I can't wait for the second Pacific Rim to come out. Number 2.
Did they confirm that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's already writing it.
Cool. All right.
So my number 2, again, was kind of a hard choice because I am a big Joss Whedon fanboy. And I couldn't put it at number 1, and we'll talk about why in a second. But with number 2, I went with Much Ado About Nothing. An absolutely fantastic adaptation of Shakespeare. Probably one of the best on-screen adaptations I've ever seen. I'm a little pissed off that he's getting snubbed at all the awards proceedings. But, I mean, everyone who has talked about this movie talks about what a great job he did, and he did it for free basically. He didn't pay anyone. He didn't pay the actors. He shot it at his house. The whole film was made over the course of 2 weeks. I mean, this film is genius. I don't know how they're not recognizing him for this, but it was a very, very good film. Had all my favorite Whedonverse actors in it. I mean, I can't gush about it enough. It was so well done. I'm mad that it was a limited release. I drove like 80 miles to go watch it because it wasn't released anywhere around here, but totally worth it. And I'd do it again. I own it now that it came out. And if anyone who likes Shakespeare hasn't seen it, you need to watch this movie. It's a really, really good job. And then my number one movie of the year, which surprises even me, but when I really sat down and thought about it, I couldn't not give it to this one. It's Frozen. Disney's Frozen. What a fantastic movie, and just it goes back to the glory days of Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, uh, the Little Mermaid. It's like the classic type of Disney stories, and they turn some of the Disney princess tropes on its ear. There are two title characters, Elsa and Anna, and the story really is about them and their relationship. And even though they kind of give you like a red herring about the whole true love theme that is often the center of a Disney film, the true love in this film is between sisters. And I just thought it was really well done. The animation was really well done. Idina Menzel is a freaking powerhouse of a singer. I am so addicted to that song, it's ridiculous. I can't stop thinking about this movie. I've seen it 4 times now.
I guess I'm gonna have to. I think this might be only the second time I'm even hearing about the movie.
Yeah, no, I loved this movie. And like I walk around humming the songs to this, and it's been out for a month now. And I still on a daily basis. This is like I'm probably seeking like an intervention, like I might need some addiction help.
Why don't you show us a tune? Hum it.
No, wait, that's the Little Mermaid.
That's even better.
But I do have an honorable mention. I couldn't squeeze it into my top 5, but I did. I loved this movie. Mostly, well, no, not mostly. It was just a good movie, but it's a musical. I love my musicals, and it was Les Miserables. It was just a really good version of it, and I just loved seeing it. I saw it 3 times in the theater, and everyone I know that saw it and appreciates this kind of stuff really liked it. So those are my top 5 for 2013. What's your thoughts, Brandon?
Am I going first, or is Dante going?
You're going.
All right. Well, coming in at number 5, I have This Is the End. I thought it was hilariously well done. Like, just I don't even know. Michael Cera as a cokehead. I mean, that's just awesome. Speaking of Michael Cera that we just watched the movie of, seeing that guy as a cokehead was awesome enough. And then just seeing the rest of the actors, the way they, or at least maybe the public could possibly view them with tabloids and everything, just how they came together and everything. I thought it was well done, and pretty sure the dick jokes are due to what's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Okay.
You saw the movie.
I need more specifics.
The same guy.
He did Your Highness.
Oh, the guy from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Well, I'm pretty sure all the dick jokes are because of him, though.
Yeah, okay, all right, so go on.
Number 4, World War Z. I thought it was... I didn't read the book, so anyone who has read the book, you can kill me later. I thought it was a really good zombie flick. Lots of action, and right in the first 5 minutes, they got right to it, and they kept me going through the whole movie. Coming in at number 3, much to your chagrin, is Star Trek Into Darkness. I like the new series. Don't know what else to say. Number 2, I did agree there. Pacific Rim was fucking amazing. Just robots beating ass. And then number 1, I have Thor: The Dark World. Not not what I put before.
Okay, what about it? Why was it your top pick?
I don't think I actually saw that many movies in theaters this year, and that one definitely stands out the most. I saw it a couple of times. just the action. I like the Marvel Universe in general, not just the film set of the series. So I'm a big fan of Marvel. So that's why it's on my top 5 list.
Cool. So Dante's going to do his list now, except Dante's list is going to go a little differently because he refuses to categorize stuff. He claims he has no opinions. So since he only has a few movies, he's only going to do one at a time, and then we'll move on to the next list.
Okay, so I'm starting with my number 5 movie, and then
Sure.
that's all I'm talking about?
Yes.
All right. So number 5, I have Man of Steel. Like, it's a classic, story of Superman. Like that's Superman story has been around for quite a while, and I enjoyed it. Like it was a pretty interesting take on the whole Superman and like his growing up and how he became who he was, and I do like superheroes and stuff like that, even though I don't really read too much of the comics or follow many that closely. They are fun and enjoyable. And it was a good, solid movie. Like, apparently the previous Superman movie was awful, and I never even saw it. But it is,
What Superman movie?
What?
What Superman movie?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, it was just, like, a nice, good, solid, fun, interesting movie with a few surprises that you don't quite expect, like the gore and the complete destruction. So yeah, that was an interesting, fun one to watch, and that's my number 5.
All right. Yeah, that was actually. I was surprised that we both had that at number 5, but yeah, that was a very good movie. All right, so we're going now into our top 5 overrated movies of 2013, so number 5, and this I want to be clear on something. Just because I put them on the overrated list doesn't mean I didn't like them. There's a difference. Because coming in at number 5 was Monsters University. I did enjoy that movie. I mean, it had Nathan Fillion in it, for God's sake. And I enjoyed the first, Monsters Inc. I thought it was a good story. Did we need to know about their origin stories, like how they met and how they became best friends? I don't think so, because it goes completely in a different direction than the ending of the first movie, where they find out that kids aren't that evil, which I still disagree with. And it was probably enjoyable, but not worth all the praise it got. If I ever see it again, it'll be because somebody else wants to see it, not because I choose to see it. It was okay, and it's not like I'm averse to it, but it just wasn't as good as everybody made it out to be. Number 4 was a movie I just saw this week, and I was so angry. So angry. And you're going to get a kick out of this one, Brandon. The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. This movie is so fucking long. I mean, just ridiculous. I've never, ever, ever, not one time as an adult, fallen asleep in a film. And I fell asleep in the middle of this movie. Okay? Peter Jackson is treating this like a cash cow. There's just not enough source material to support 3 3-hour movies. It's just not there.
No. The Hobbit was 100 and something pages.
Yeah, 180 pages. And the joke I've been making has been, it's like it took like a day and a half to read. It shouldn't take me a day and a half to watch. So there was just a lot of character development that was, to me, unnecessary. It didn't work very well on the screen. It worked much better on the page. And don't get me wrong, the action's good. The filming is good. It's a well-made movie. It's just got way too much shit in it that it doesn't need. The end action should have started about 45 minutes sooner. And they did the same shit they did with the Lord of the Rings thing that I didn't like, is cliffhanger. The cliffhangers are stupid for film. They're not even that great for television. So, like, the end... Spoilers. The end of the movie literally cuts off in the middle of the end action. It just stops. It doesn't end. You know, it's like there is no ending for this movie, and I was physically angry when I walked out of the theater at how long this movie was. There was just they tried way too hard to turn this into a franchise. Maybe it would have supported 2 movies, maybe, and that would have been good. And my new rule
I
for
was
Peter
bored with
Jackson,
the first one.
I thought the first one was okay. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay, enough to see the second one, obviously. If the third one comes in at over 2 hours, I don't know that I'm going to watch it, because it's just too goddamn long. And here's an odd thing that you won't hear me say often. I don't like 3D movies. I didn't see it in 3D. I think particularly the end action of this movie would have been enhanced by the 3D. It's a very pretty movie. I mean, Peter Jackson doesn't make shabby movies, but long, and just a lot of unnecessary information. Okay, number 3, another movie that I liked, I thought was funny, but just not as good as its predecessors or as good as people claimed it was The Hangover Part 3. It was just a rehash of the other 2 movies. A lot of, raunchy humor, which is, again, funny, but is it really good? I mean, it's kind of like saying that the American Pie franchise was, were good films. It's like they were funny, but I wouldn't go so far as to say they were good films. Number 2, and this one was another big fight, because I thought this was going to come into my number 1 spot, and I had to really put a lot of thought into this. Number 2 was Star Trek Into Darkness.
Wow, something beats Star Trek. That's amazing.
Yeah. As anyone who's
Don't do it for 5 minutes.
anyone who's seen the show knows how I feel about the new Star Trek series. My Star Trek is dead. I've accepted it. The film is a popcorn action flick. It's just I don't think it's in the spirit of what Star Trek really is, and we're gonna leave it at that. And my number 1 overrated film is just because of how much praise they're heaping on it, is Gravity. Was it visually pretty? Sure. But I didn't think the story was very interesting. I didn't find the characters very engaging. It was kind of suspenseful. There was a little bit of stupidity in the science of it. It just wasn't... I mean, this thing's going to win all sorts of awards this year. Don't get me wrong. People loved this movie for some reason. I wasn't one of them. I don't understand why it's getting such high praise, and I don't think there was nothing about this movie that would say, it's like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen, like a lot of these people have. I don't get it. So those are my top 5 overrated. So Brandon?
My number 5 is Gravity. I actually have not seen the movie, and I probably won't. Everything that I've heard, not just from you, from other people at work, I don't want to say it's boring. Just 2 people stuck in space.
I know you told me not to interrupt, but I just think it's hilarious right now that the instant you said I haven't even seen it, and you probably saw in a little square Jose's reaction, I did the exact same thing at the exact same time. We both went back in our chairs and flailed our arms like, what? So, anyway, continue.
I didn't have anything else to put. Outside of my top 4, I couldn't think of anything else that was overrated, and I was like, Gravity's kind of overrated. Everyone talks about how good it is on the internet. I have no interest at all.
Okay.
So I'll go forward.
All right, number 4.
I don't know. Number 4, Riddick. I thought it was a good movie, but I did think it got a little overhyped. Even for me, I overhyped it a little bit. I think I wanted more out of it, especially with the way the Chronicles of Riddick went. I wish there was more of that story involved, but I'm imagining we'll see that with the additional sequel to the series. That's the only reason I would think it's overrated. Otherwise, the action was very good. Number 3 for overrated, I would say Elysium. It got hyped to be something that it was not.
Did you see
I
it?
thought there was going to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw it. I thought it was going to be, I guess, more actiony than it was with him in that suit. I thought he was going to be taking down a lot more things than he did. I guess I expected something different. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was. I probably wouldn't watch it again unless it was like on your list or something. Um, Number two, I would say After Earth. Again, it got very hyped up, especially because Will Smith is in it. I hyped it up myself. I thought it was an okay movie, but again, I guess really the lack of Will Smith is why it was overrated. Because he didn't have a huge role in the movie, at least any kind of sequences outside of him sitting in a chair. And then the number one overrated, you could probably guess this, is Iron Man 3. Yeah. Don't even need to go into that. Fuck that.
Hey, there's still hope. You know, Ben Kingsley is
Ben
working.
Kingsley isn't talking.
Yeah.
I so hope that he would that what I thought could be true, that that he was just fucking with Iron Man because he didn't have his rings on. I honestly hope that's the case and he just goes and gets his rings.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna try to keep mine kind of quick. Number 4, and like I just call them remarkable movies because they're just something worth talking about, and it's Iron Man 3. Yeah, like it's not like remarkable, not necessarily good or bad, just like it's interesting and or whatever. And like yeah, it was fun. It's kind of pretty much the same thing as Man of Steel. It was fun, interesting, exciting, funny, good action. Just overall, it was a nice, fun movie with a lot of good stuff in it that I just thought was entertaining and enjoyable. And maybe it was a popcorn movie, but I like popcorn.
I do want to. Go ahead, Brandon.
I think even you saw me when we went to the theaters that one night. I walked out mad.
Yes.
I rarely walk out of a movie mad.
Yes, that is your Star Trek. There is one I want to go back real quick. I did have an honorable mention on overrated movies, and it was one of your movies that you liked was World War Z. It was okay. I have since read the book after seeing the movie, and the book is so much different. And I can understand why fans of the book hated the movie.
I don't understand why there wasn't more armor in the movie. Like of any sort, like Kevlar, anything. Like he put books on his arm, and that helped. The militaries were like getting defeated by something that like they can't whatever.
So this has nothing to do with the book. This is just Dante's view of logic. That was his big problem. All right, so we're moving on to my top 5 surprise movies of the year. I'm going to mention my honorable mention first before I forget it. And that was Rush, which was the Formula One racing movie. I did not expect much from this movie. I did not think it was going to be the kind of movie that it was. It really was about the drivers as people and not about the cars. I mean, the cars were fantastic. This is one of those movies you want to see either in a theater or with a badass surround sound system, because when those cars rev their engines, I get goosebumps. I mean, it just sounds so good. But the movie really, really was about the drivers and what makes them do what they do and their relationships with each other. And it's about two people that really didn't like each other but developed a respect for each other because of what they are and what they do, or who they are and what they do. My number 5 movie was Pain and Gain. I just went in and was like, hey, let's see what this is about. And that was a fantastic movie. I'm not that big a fan of
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, and he did a wonderful job. The Rock was incredible. And the best...
Shalhoub.
What's that?
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub was great, but the best part about this movie is it is a true story. And I lived in Miami. I grew up a large part of my life in Miami, and when these people spoke, I believed that they were these people that I grew up around. Like, I knew these people, not the characters that the movie was about, but I knew people that thought like this. I knew people that spoke like this. I mean, it really was kind of just a very. I was able to relate to these people, and one of the things that they do throughout the film is, because some of it is very, very stupid. It's very stupid. It's hilariously stupid. So they have to keep reminding you, this is still a true story. Because these things actually happened. And it was really, really good. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Number 4 was Zero Dark 30. I did not expect Zero Dark 30 to be as good of a film as it was. I expected it to be more of a popcorn action flick, and this really was about the people and the process of hunting down Osama bin Laden. And the performances were wonderful. The portrayal of the military was spot on, so much so that they ended up in front of Congress because they wanted to know how they got some of the information that they got. I mean, it was just an overall well-made movie, and it just wasn't something I was expecting. Coming in number 3, Now You See Me, another movie that just kind of caught me out of nowhere. I knew it was about magic. I knew, it was an ensemble film, but it really just was something I wasn't expecting. It was the story was original, the acting was good, the twist at the end, I didn't see it coming, although some people claim they did. And just overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I wrote about it on the site. It was something that I really wasn't expecting. So that was a nice surprise. Number 2, I knew this movie was going to be terrible going in, but I wasn't prepared for just how terrible it was, and that it was going to be so terrible that it was going to be fucking amazing. It was Sharknado. Sharknado is just one of the craziest, most absurd movies you will ever see, and it is absolutely fantastic. And what made it even better was when I pre-ordered the freaking DVD, right? I don't know how many times I saw it before it came out on DVD. Then I pre-ordered the DVD. Then they played it in theaters. I saw it in theaters. This movie was good because it's so bad. And what makes it all that much better is after I got the DVD, I watched the commentary, and these people thought they were making a real movie. They thought they were being serious. I mean, they're not awesome. Like, oh, we were just making haha. This is no. They talked about the making of this movie like it was serious high art. So the commentary is even funny.
But only in an ironic way.
Yes. I mean, come on. And they're making a part 2, and I'm so going to see it. Because I don't know how they can make it much dumber. But given what I've seen so far, I'm sure they will succeed. And my number 1 surprise movie of the year was Frozen. I went into this expecting just another, kind of like Pixar, Disney animated movie, something that would be nice to watch, with an okay story. And I was completely blown away, as clearly, it ended up on my, my top list of all movies for the year. So yeah, Frozen. I'm not going to go into all the details of it again, but it just really was the biggest surprise of the year for me. So, all right, Brandon.
My number 5, I would say is going to slightly change from the one I sent you because you reminded me of it, and that would be Now You See Me. I completely forgot about that movie. My honorable mention, I guess, that I had as number 5 would be Ender's Game. I didn't know what to expect when going into it. I have not read the books. I only watched one preview, and that was didn't really actually show a whole lot of what the movie was about. So I was genuinely surprised by the movie, and I thought it was pretty cool. I would hope maybe there's a sequel because I read about it after that. It's like one of 12 or 13, maybe even more books in a series.
Dante shaking his head at you.
That I haven't read it or that I don't know how many books there are.
You don't know how many books there are.
There's a lot.
There's like 3.
No, there's definitely more than 3.
Well, the main series, like there's Ender's Game is basically a prequel to a trilogy, and anything after that is not generally thought of as part of the Ender series, unless you're talking about the parallel stories going on. But that's not the Ender series. That would be like Being or something. But it's not 12.
I don't know. The guy who's writing that universe, I guess, is like some ridiculous number for the books.
Anyway, continue.
All right, continue. Yes.
Like, I got places to be, Brandon.
Hey, me too. I have a raid to be at. Number 4, Red 2. I was pretty surprised by that. I didn't expect Catherine Zeta-Jones to be in it, so I thought that was pretty cool. The action was great. The comedy was great. Overall, a very good movie. Number 3, Kick-Ass 2. Jim Carrey did a fantastic job in this movie. Fantastic job. He didn't. I mean, he kind of did, but I guess he didn't play his quote-unquote normal self that he does in Ace Ventura and that kind of thing, which I enjoyed. And just the sheer brutality that they show in this movie was pretty damn nice. It obviously not nice in the fact that they're beating people to smithereens, but nice in the fact that it was well done. I think. My number 2 surprise movie was you mentioned it, Man of Steel. I was greatly concerned when going and seeing Man of Steel for pretty much the same reason you said. I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know how they were going to go about telling the story, especially with that preview showing that Jonathan Kent saying, maybe you should have, left those kids in the bus in the water. Just things like that. But overall, I was really surprised. I still kind of wish they didn't do Zod as the enemy, but it was done in a decent way. Although at the end, sheer logic. Why did he have to snap his neck? Why couldn't he just cover his eyes?
Don't know. That's an artistic decision.
Don't know.
Maybe because they didn't want to bring Zod back.
And then the number 1 surprise movie was This Is the End. I had heard about that from you, and since then I have probably seen it like 6 or 7 times. Just awesomely funny. Awesomely funny. I cannot get enough of that movie. It's definitely one of the first things that comes into my head now when I want to watch a comedy.
Cool.
So those are my top 5.
Surprises.
Surprises, yes.
Yes.
Top 5 surprises.
All right, and I guess now it's my turn for my number 3 pick of remarkable movies, and it's Sharknado. Like, it's remarkable in the sense that if you watch this movie and don't have something to say about it, you did not watch that movie. Like, that movie is so ridiculous, so insane, so over the top. Like, as Slider said, it's so bad, it's amazing. I don't think I can agree with that. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. I guess I can see why you guys like it, but I'm never planning on watching this again. But like, I don't regret that I saw it, but once is enough. All right, that's my number 3 remarkable movie.
All right.
I never watched it, and I still don't know if I'm going to.
You should, man. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. It's gonna change your life. All right. So, and that brings me to the top 5 movies I'm looking forward to in 2014. I had trouble culling this list down too. My honorable mentions were a tie between Amazing Spider-Man 2 and How to Train Your Dragon. I am looking forward to both of those, but not as much as I am to the rest of these. So going forward to number 5, I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's part of Phase 2 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm curious to see what direction they're going to go in, because if you remember that post-credit clip in Thor, that clip felt very, very different from all the other Marvel movies. It felt very theatrical, almost felt like kind of like a Doctor Who vibe in terms of the way the set looked, the way the characters looked, and I don't know how they're going to have a film with such a radically different tone that's supposed to be part of the same universe. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how they're going to handle that. Number 4 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I was really, really satisfied with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'm a fan of the old series. I wasn't upset about the way they changed things. I thought it was, because let's face it, the Planet of the Apes movies are campy. There's no doubt about it. I still love
the
them.
old ones were, yes.
Yeah, I still love them, but they're campy movies. Whereas Rise of the Planet of the Apes was actually a really decent film. Andy Serkis's performance as Caesar was really well done. Yeah, I even like James Franco. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're where they're going to take this franchise and what direction it's going to go in. Number 3. Even looking at it right now, I'm still hesitant to put that in number 3 because, again, 3 and 2 were a big fight on what order I was going to put them in. But I settled on X-Men: Days of Future Past. I'm actually really excited to see this movie. Oh shit! I can't remember the name of the first one.
Origins?
No. What was the X-Men movie? First Class. Thank you. Couldn't come up with that name for some reason. I thought that was really well done. It was very different than a lot of the X-Men movie we've seen so far. I really enjoyed it, and the post-credit scene from
Wolverine.
I'm sorry?
The Wolverine.
Yes, from Wolverine was fantastic. It was almost better than the movie itself. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these characters on screen together and seeing what direction they're going to take this story in. And my number 2 most anticipated movie is one that a trailer was recently released for, and it was Godzilla. I'm looking forward to a return to the classic Godzilla type of story. I just recently watched the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, and unlike most people, I didn't hate it, but it doesn't have it doesn't feel like a Godzilla movie. This movie looks the creature looks like Godzilla, sounds like Godzilla. From what I understand, he's going to be fighting other monsters. Just from the preview or the teaser trailer we've seen, it looks like it was shot really well. Really looking forward to this. I think I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. And my number 1 most anticipated movie, it's got to go to Captain America. Captain America, to me, was the standout movie of the Phase 1, aside from Avengers, obviously. But I didn't know what to expect from Captain America. I didn't think it was going to be very good. I wasn't actually very interested in the character before then, and this movie really got me into Captain America. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with this character, how they're going to treat the Winter Soldier, how his relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to change, and you see how it's going to tie into the rest of this universe. I love the Avengers. I love the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe so far, and I just really want to see where it's going to go and how they're going to take it there. Right. And that's those are my picks, Brandon.
I don't know if I can really specify an order except for the number 1, so I'll just say the number 1
So you're
spot
going to read
for
the first
last.
5 on your list, goddammit.
Nope. I am going to pick and choose. I am going to pick and choose at least. Coming in at number 5, I would say is RoboCop. really interested to see what they do with the movie. Um, just because it's a classic. At least the first two were. I mean, the third one was kind of bad, but uh, I don't know. It's an old classic for me. I grew up with it. I want to see what they've done with it, how they enhance it. I know that they're making him more agile and flexible, and instead of stiff like the old classic RoboCop. But I'm just really interested in seeing what they do. Then after that, I would say is probably a tie between Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, both for very different reasons. I'm a huge fan of Planet of the Apes, the old films, even the Matt Damon one, whatever year that was made. And then this past Rise of Planet of the Apes. I thought I love all of them. Just the concept in general is really nice, and I like James Franco. I don't know if he signed if he's going to be playing in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think
No.
he is. No.
They reference him, but he's one of the people that is wiped out by the virus.
Well, that'll be interesting to see how Caesar deals with that. But it's going to be quite interesting to see what they do with it, especially since the virus is unleashed on humanity now. Guardians of the Galaxy, looking forward to, again, even what you said, seeing how they deal with it, because they have a tree and a raccoon in their crew. I want to see how they implement that to actually work with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because Vin Diesel's playing the tree Groot. I forget what some other wrestler guy is playing one of the Drax the Destroyer, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how he portrays that too. I don't know how good of an actual actor he is.
I'm gonna be mad if Vin Diesel has more than any line that has more than 3 words. Because
Why?
all Groot ever says is "I am Groot." That is all
Really?
he's ever
I
said.
don't know anything about them.
That is what Groot says. That's the extent of his ability to speak. So
Interesting.
it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to use Vin Diesel for that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because I mean, Groot's got to be completely animated. It can't be like him in a suit.
Yeah, it's going to be complete. Well, I think it's motion capture, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's
gonna be
I just left. I'm at number. That was that's it. I mean, I guess I'm at number 3. Number 2, I guess. Well, I would say X-Men: Days of Future Past, and then number 1, Captain America 2. But some other honorable mentions would have been Transformers 4.
no.
Yeah.
Bad, Brandon. Bad.
The Expendables 3.
Oh,
Teenage
God.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Can you
Teenage
kick him
Mutant
out
Ninja
of
Turtles.
this? Okay, all right.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's several. Next year actually looks to be really good for movies. I mean, even like How to Train Your Dragon 2. A lot of good movies next year.
All right. Dante?
Okay, yeah. So I guess I get to say 2 movies in a row now, and like once again, it's just remarkable. The number 2 I have is Great Gatsby, just because it's from Baz Luhrmann, who did the the most probably recent well-known version of Romeo and Juliet. That was very interesting with Leonardo DiCaprio. Now with Great Gatsby, Leonardo DiCaprio's back with him. And it's very stylish, very stylized. I actually did not read the story in high school or anything like that, so I didn't know what was coming. There's actually a scene where he meets up with the girl, and there's a song playing by Lana Del Rey. And after Summertime Sadness has been playing on the radio all the time, and I heard that song, I'm like, okay, what else has she done? Because this is amazing. And now I'm a big fan of Lana Del Rey, partially because of that movie. And my number 1 remarkable movie, Frozen. Pretty much right on the bandwagon with Jose. It's a new classic again, although maybe not, because it's not quite as childish as some of the other ones. It's got a little bit more grown-up themes, although not quite really adult or anything. Just it's a little parts of it are a little darker than you'd expect for a Disney movie, but it's pretty nice, and Olaf is quite fun. I like Olaf. I often, when it's like, I want to count to, whenever someone says like just a minute, I just want to start counting just like he did. And I also remember like I don't have a skull or bones. But yeah, Frozen. It's just I enjoyed it. It was fun. Good songs, good music, good animation. Great story. I love the twist they had in there with what they did with the true love and all that. So that's my number one.
All right, and there is one other movie I'm going to mention. It wasn't on any of my lists, but I feel like it would be a crime to not even bring it up, and that would be 12 Years a Slave. An absolutely brilliant, absolutely well-made film. The reason it's not on any of my lists is these lists were compiled purely on the enjoyment factor. And while I really liked 12 Years a Slave, that movie's disturbing, and it drove me to drink and get in trouble in my third viewing of Frozen. But that's a story for another time. And we are way longer than we normally go, so I'm going to go ahead and... we need to pick our next film. So I'm just going to do that right here instead of trying to... All right. I didn't drop the ball.
It's going to be Dante.
Show off.
All right. Can you see?
I-25.
I-25. I-25.
I thought you were a little older than that.
25, beginning with an I.
So you say. Except.
25 begins with a T.
Yeah, I can't do this.
Except
Did you mess up these
I
numbers?
haven't done anything.
You picked movies before today. So now all these numbers seem to be... Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, the order wasn't... Oops, I just ripped it. Well, there we go.
Oh, man.
That's the reaction we love. And we're done. I'm just kidding.
Yeah!
I think we all know who picked that one, even though it was ripped off.
It's Expendables.
And because there's two movies, you got to watch both.
I thought that was trilogies.
Yeah, it was trilogies.
So it was series. It was not trilogies, or it was not E's specific. It was series. So the Expendables is two currently.
I don't think that's accurate.
Now, when we discussed Star Wars, we split it into the two trilogies because there were six, but
yes, but
no,
the
the Expendables
trilogies.
I'm going to go find one that there's been 4 or 5 of that we talked about all of them.
Scary movie.
There you go.
I talked about Scary Movie.
I know, but you could just go like, oh, talk about scary movies, so you gotta watch 5 of them.
Yeah. Well, the Crappy Potter.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
All right, 8.
Jeez.
Yeah, but 8 is more than 3.
I think it's ridiculous.
Just go watch both movies. Because I'm going to talk about both. Especially the opening, The Expendables 2.
Okay. We're going to wrap this up now.
Oh,
Hey,
you sound defeated.
Maybe it'll be another Scott Pilgrim. I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, you didn't see them?
I've seen The Expendables, and
That's enough.
yeah. Something I'd never planned on ever doing again. So we're gonna go ahead and kill this. So thanks for your end of year picks, guys. Thanks for watching. The one viewer who's here, and thanks for something else that I don't know why I said thanks for. And Happy New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas. And that is a wrap.